Philip Hugh Norman Rudd is a New Zealand-based Australian drummer, best known for his membership in Australian hard rock band ACDC from 1975 until 1983, and again from 1994 to the present. Upon the 1977 departure of bass guitarist Mark Evans from ACDC, Rudd became the only Australian-born member of the band. In 2003, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame along with the other members of AC/DC. Biography, born to Lithuanian parents on May 19, 1954, in Melbourne, Rudd began playing drums in his teens and became quite serious about pursuing a career in music. He played in several bands in Melbourne before joining Buster Brown with future Rose Tattoo vocalist Angry Anderson. They went on to release one album, Something to Say, in 1974, before Rudd left to join the Coloured Balls with Lobby Lloyd. In 1974 Rudd was told about AC/DC's rhythm section auditions by his former Coloured Balls bandmate Trevor Young. Rudd asked Buster Brown bassist Geordie Leach to accompany him to the auditions, but Leach refused due to other commitments. Rudd auditioned and was hired immediately. Rudd's drumming style suited the band's style of music and became an integral part of AC/DC's sound from 1975 to 1983. The band relocated to the United Kingdom in 1976 and followed a heavy schedule of international touring and recording. Leaving AC/DC, in 1980, AC/DC's vocalist Bon Scott died. The band continued on, recruiting new vocalist Brian Johnson and subsequently recording their most successful album, 1980's Back in Black. Good friends, Rudd took Scott's death badly, but continued on with AC/DC until he left the band during the recording of the Flick of the Switch album in 1983. Rudd had completed his contributions to the album, and although session drummer B.J. Wilson was recruited to help complete the recording, Wilson's drum parts were ultimately not used. Simon Wright was soon hired as Rudd's permanent replacement, and featured in the videos that accompanied the singles released from the album. Rudd's 1983 sacking from AC/DC was partly the result of his own personal problems as well as a conflict with the band's rhythm guitarist and founder Malcolm Young, which allegedly escalated to become physical. Following his firing, Rudd retired to Tauranga, New Zealand, where he purchased a helicopter company. Rudd's departure from AC/DC didn't become widely known until the eve of their North American tour in 1983. In the last few pages of Circus magazine's October 1983 edition it stated Phil Rudd exits AC/DC to spend more time with his family and his cars. Guitarist Angus Young was quoted in the same article as saying, "We're a rowdy bunch, but we don't fight with each other." Vocalist Brian Johnson added in a Hit Parade interview from the same period that you couldn't find a more solid person or drummer than Phil Rudd. "None of us would have to work if we didn't want to. Phil chose that option." On his years away from AC/DC, Rudd has said, "I raced cars, flew helicopters, became a farmer and planted some crops. I lived in New Zealand, which was great. Nice and quiet with nobody bothering me." Rudd also continued to play drums, when I wanted to rather than when I had to, and built his own recording studio. Rejoining AC/DC. When AC/DC toured New Zealand in 1991 in support of their Razor's Edge album, they called Rudd to see if he would be interested in joining them for a casual jam session. Rudd accepted their offer. Though there was no discussion of him rejoining the group at the time, Rudd would be invited to permanently rejoin AC/DC in late 1993 following the recording of the Big Gun single for the Last Action Hero movie soundtrack. AC/DC welcomed Rudd back following Chris Slade's term as the band's drummer. The band praised Slade for his performance and technical ability, but maintained that a certain groove had been missing from AC/DC's music since Rudd's departure in 1983. Since rejoining the band, he has performed on 3 AC/DC studio albums, Ballbreaker, Stiff Upper Lip, and Black Ice, which was the band's biggest hit on the charts since For Those About to Rock We Salute You in 1981. Solo album. Rudd's first solo album, Head Job, was released on August 29, 2014. Personal life. On December 1, 2010, Rudd was convicted of possessing 25 g of marijuana on his boat in Tauranga, New Zealand, but later had his cannabis conviction quashed on the grounds that it would have stopped him from continuing to tour with AC/DC. On July 30, 2011, it was announced that the drummer had purchased and would open a marina restaurant at Bridge Marina in Tauranga, where he resides. He named it Phil's Place, and planned on selling seafood and top-quality steak. The restaurant closed temporarily in July 2012, and was scheduled to reopen before the end of the year. It was still closed at end of March 2013, but reopened on April 10. In 2014, Rudd was ordered to pay more than $70,000 to 3 former employees for unjustified dismissal. On November 6, 2014, Rudd was charged with attempting to procure a murder, threatening to kill, possession of methamphetamine and possession of cannabis, following a police raid on his home. The charge of attempting to procure a murder was withdrawn the following day, but the other charges remained. AC/DC released a statement clarifying that the tour promoting Rock or Bust would continue, but did not say whether or not Rudd would participate, or if he was still a member of the band. In an interview on November 13, Angus Young stated that the band had experienced problems with Rudd earlier in the year when recording Rock or Bust, and that his situation had taken the band by surprise. Rudd had also missed video and photo shoots, and with reference to Rudd's future in the band, Young added, "So, at this stage, it's a pretty tough call for us." He also said the band would continue, "He's got to sort himself out, I think. At this point it's kind of a question mark. But if we're touring, there will be a drummer in place, put it that way." In the same interview, Young also said, "Phil created his own situation. It's a hard thing to say about the guy. He's a great drummer, and he's done a lot of stuff for us. But he seems to have let himself go. He's not the Phil we've known from the past." Equipment: Rudd uses Sonor drums, paste cymbals, Evans drumheads and Easterner head drumsticks. Tour kit: drums, Sonor Designer Series, maple light shells, solid black finish, 22A, 18 bass drum, 13A, 13 tom-tom, 16A, 18 floor tom, 18A, 18 floor tom. Sonor Signature Series Horselink 14A, 5 snare, Sonor Phil Rudd Signature 14A, 5 snare. Cymbals: Pace 2002, 14 inches Paste Sound Formula Reflector Heavy Hi-Hat, 20 crash, 19 crash, 20 crash, 20 crash, 19 crash, 19 crash, 19 crash. On their earlier albums, notably Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Rudd occasionally used a ride cymbal, but quit using one later in his career. Drumheads: Evans drumheads, bass drum, EQ2, toms, clear G2 on the batter side, EC resonant on the resonant side, snare, EC reverse dot on the batter side, Hazy 300 on the resonant side, Pure Sound Blasters snare wire. Hardware: Sonor 600 series, DT 670 drum throne, SS 677 snare stand, CBS 672 cymbal boom stands, CBA 672 cymbal boom arm. Sonor GSP-3 giant step bass drum pedal, Sonor 5000 series double tom stand, Sonor 5000 series hi-hat stand. Past kits: his Back in Black touring kit. 22A, 14 bass drum, 12A, 9, 13A, 10, and 14A, 11 toms, 16A, 16 and 18A, 18 floor toms, 14A, 5.5 snare. Past drum heads are EMO. Coated Emperors on the batter, coated Ambassadors on the resonant, clear controlled sound over a hazy Ambassador on the snare. Phil's known for having a clear dot snare head. Further reading: Walker, Clinton, Highway to Hell, The Life and Times of AC/DC Legend Bon Scott, Verse Chorus Press, ISBN A0-283-06263-0. Stenning, Paul. Johnston, Rob. AC/DC, Two Sides to Every Glory, The Complete Biography. Chrome Dreams. ISBN A1-84240-308-7. References. Circus Magazine, October 1983, Phil Rudd exits AC/DC, Hit Parader, November 1983, ACDC A Euro to Hell and Back, external links, acdc.com official site, actcrocs.com, Phil's Place.